In our last video, we covered some of the basics of shooting off of a bipod from a bench. Now, typically we're shooting prone in the field, so we're going to transition to shooting prone, one of the most universally applicable shooting positions and styles. This, if you're going to nail anything out there for long range shooting, shooting prone off a bipod is the tool to have in your tool bag. There's a process that I like to follow when setting up to shoot a prone bipod shot. Let me walk you through some of these steps. I think it will make you more effective and quicker in the field. The first step is selecting a position. And when I'm hunting, I'm on the mountain, I'm looking for animals. As much as I'm looking for something to shoot, I'm also always in the back of my mind keeping an eye on places to shoot from. I'll walk into a big basin to start glassing, and one of the first things I'm looking for, other than looking for a big set of antlers, is to find a place to make a shot from. If you can tune your brain to always keeping that in the back of your mind, you're going to be much faster pulling off a shot when the time comes. Once I've got my spot selected, I know some of the angles and the geometry that I need to pull off that shot. And the first thing I'm going to look at is what height do I need to set my bipod at. So what I like to do is I like to preset the height of my bipod before I get behind the gun. If I need to elevate that muzzle to get it up higher, I'm going to take my bipod and I'm going to maybe extend those halfway. And basically I'm taking my best guess at what most likely I need. Maybe I've got a side hill shot and I need, one foot a lot longer than the other. I'm gonna preset that and get it as close as I can before I get behind the gun. Then I'm gonna be able to fine tune it if I need to once I'm behind the rifle. Next, I'm gonna set my rifle and I'm gonna build my position. First thing is, I know where my target is. I'm going to make sure that when I set my rifle down, it's pointed toward my target. I've seen too many guys set a rifle down and then start hunting through the scope. If you pre-sight that rifle when you lay it down, you're going to find that target in your scope much quicker instead of hunting for it. So I'm going to set my rifle. I'm going to get my feet nice and positioned well so they're getting some purchase on the ground. I'm not bouncing around or jumping anything. I'm going to make sure that once my front's stable, that my rear is stable. I'm going to use a rear bag, either sandbag or a jacket stuffed in a pack or something like that to get stable in the rear. And then from there, I'm gonna get behind and address my rifle and get ready to shoot. Now this isn't a fundamentals video. We've got a lot of videos that cover all the details of grip and squaring up and everything else. But essentially, I'm gonna get behind the rifle. I'm gonna square up behind it. I've already got it pointed towards my target. And really, like we talked about before, the biggest thing is finding that wall and making sure that we're loading that bipod properly. You can see I've got square angles on everything. I've got it nice and set well. Nothing's moving on me. It's very, very stable. And essentially, I'm going to get up into the rifle. Rather than trying to pull the rifle to me, I'm going to move into the rifle and basically create a little bit of a bridge here. I can lean into it again. You don't want to overload that bipod. I want to stress that. I think we beat this loading the bipod into guys, and it's really not the right term. We really just want to find that wall to where we're taking up all the slack and the free recoil is coming back, using a little bit of that flex in the bipod to handle that straight recoil back rather than letting that rifle jump on you. So you can see that if I pull this rifle towards me and I'm basically taking up that slack to the rearward, those feet are pushed up against the ground, and so when I shoot and that rifle recoils back, there's no flex in that system. And what's going to happen is that rifle's going to want to jump and the muzzle's going to rise. And that's where we get inconsistency in our system. So to avoid that or to alleviate it, I'm going to instead load into the bipod and take up that slack. And so when that rifle recoils, it's going to come straight back like this, and we're going to see far less jump and far less inconsistency shot to shot. So essentially, we're doing this to replicate that free straight recoil that we were seeing in the bench rest system with a front rest, but now we've got a bipod that's much more universally applicable, a lot easier to take in the field with us and shoot. So once I've got my position built, I've got my bipod set, I understand the mechanics of finding that wall, I'm gonna get behind my rifle, I'm gonna make sure if my dope isn't already dialed, I'm gonna adjust for my shot, get my bubble level here, acquire my target, hold my wind, and I'm gonna take a shot. It's really that simple, guys, as long as you understand the mechanics of finding that wall, making sure that we're doing the right things, getting the right angles to be consistent shot to shot and avoid any of those inconsistencies. One last thing to keep in mind, guys, is transitioning from shooting off of a bench to shooting prone. Very often we will see a point of impact shift from those two positions, and it's essentially a function of addressing that rifle differently and handling that recoil difference. So highly recommend that when you're getting ready to go hunt, the bench is a great tool for convenience, load development, all that stuff, but when you're getting ready to go hunt, make sure that you're getting your final zero, and really the practice that matters is going to be best done from the prone rather than from the bench when you're getting ready to go out on a hunt. Guys, now that we've got your straightforward flat prone shooting covered, we're going to transition and start looking at some steeper uphill, downhill, and some more awkward stuff, how we can use these fundamentals that we've learned to apply them to more difficult and challenging shots.